Formula One Mexican Grand Prix has went underway with an intense race here going down from the final laps with Max Verstappen trying to make his way into second, and also with the battle between George Russell, Oscar Piastri having another terrible week. Really, for the likes of Oscar, you're not in high in points, but you're up there in first place with a decent gap enough to, having a couple races left, trying to get that World Drivers' Championship. And these last four races with some poor finishes, it's not looking like Lando Norris takes back his P1 in standings for the World Drivers' Championship. And personally for me, Lando, I want him to win it. I'm a huge fan of Oscar, I really am. But I've seen Lando from the bottom getting picked up from McLaren to now being in the position where he is. He won no races. He was just eager to win one race. Now having this last season and this season with a car that's capable of winning, that's how how much it's crazy to see how McLaren, just a bang average team, going to winning back-to-back constructor championship. So that's something you really love to see. Here we'll go on with the positions on the Mexican race with Lando, Charles, and Max getting P1 2 through P3. Ollie Berman making a huge placing, and Haas getting P4. That's something you hardly ever see. Only things I can realize is when Hulkenberg and Isaac Hadjar got podiums earlier this year, and Carlossainz. So that's huge, seeing these under cars, these low back of the grid cars getting podiums. I didn't think the only thing that happened similar to that in the last couple of years was Alpine when they met Brazil. That was pretty much like the last thing really, and then before that I think it was out when AlphaTauri won a race in Monza. But I'm getting stranded. But yeah, Berman huge P4. The whole thing is going on with with, was it Max? I know Lewis was involved in the McLarens, or not the McLarens, the Mercedes, and I think Max was. I think he did it over. I'm trying to remember from the race, but Berman huge performance. Piastri terrible. Was it P8 in qualifying, P7. Sainz had a 5 grid penalty, so that Sainz qualified higher than Piastri, but then he had to get dropped. And then when the race began, Piastri lost. He went more back in the grid. So has not been the greatest couple weeks for Oscar Piastri. Eager to win that championship, but just mistakes like this. Is it him? Is it the car? I think there was something of him saying something wrong with the battery or something. I don't remember, but him now he's just a couple points. Maybe I think now it's just a point off. He at the time he was P7, made his way, or P8 or 7, made his way. He catched up to the Mercedes. Whole situation where Russell wanted to, because he was quicker, but they wanted Kimi to stay ahead, which really made no sense. And then of course Piastri caught up. But that's a whole, George Russell on the radio was saying that entire race, and he was pretty annoyed. He was really mad at saying, like, what was the point of all this? Did that cost him a P5 from either? Probably. I think George Russell was faster, but they held positions, and then Piastri caught up, and then reached from P5. Hamilton had a good qualifying. He had a good stint in the first couple laps. I know the whole thing happened with Max and Charles, both going out of track. But he did get a 5-second penalty for. I don't know if it was I don't think it was gaining an advantage. I think it was just going off track and just going back on. I don't think he gained an advantage. Max was ahead of Lewis, so hence why he didn't have to give position back. I think Charles might have. People were saying I saw that people were saying that he probably should have got a penalty as well, but no, well. He had a 10-second penalty. Lewis Hamilton, he took that, pretty much ruined his race. He got P8. This 100% could have been like a 2-3 Ferrari, a 2-4 Ferrari, if that wasn't the case. And That's what happened there. It's been Ocon getting points. It's huge. Haas had a good day, a P4, P9, and then finish up with the points was Bartolotto. Um, and after that, Liam Lawson, Hulkenberg, and Fernando Alonso had to get off. Did what? How many laps did it? Lawson had 5 laps, 25, and then 34 for Alonso. Mechanical issues, whatever. They pitted really early. Sainz, his race was just completely ruined, and then also DNF'd as well. I didn't even notice that, honestly. Oh, just right when the race is bad. Oh yeah, that's what. Hence that whole controversy with the safety, with the virtual safety car that happened towards the end, the final laps. Um, just right past like the stands, the right before the finish line. The whole, Max 100% without a doubt would have caught up to Charles, and then he probably would have got P2, and then also Piastri was following Ollie Berman. So if that wasn't the case, Piastri would have had P1 in the constructors if he caught up to Ollie Berman. That's 2 points, so he would have been a point ahead. A huge thing towards the end. Kind of ruined, the anticipation, what was going on there. The battle, two battles at the same time, with a few laps to go, like 3-4 laps to go. That pretty much ruined the momentum of the virtual safety. People were saying they didn't even needed to be a virtual safety car, and then it ended in the last lap, halfway through, and you can't really overtake from what's left from there. But yeah, that was it for that. And Lando, he was ahead. He was 30 seconds ahead of Charles. So Lando is something that what Lando really needs. Here we're gonna look through the constructors, drivers. A point ahead from Oscar Piastri. I want Lando to win. Like I said before, I've seen him in the bottom of the bottom, teammates after teammates with Danny Rick, Sainz, Fernando, going on through all these years. It's what, 7-8 years maybe. Maybe like 6, 7, 8 years, and to finally see him be in the position where he is, I really want to see him to win it. People are saying he's arrogant. People are hating on Lando. This happens all the time to the best drivers and the best person. Verstappen was getting hate for 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row. And now they love him. I see him online and they love Max. It's because whoever's winning, they're gonna hate the most. That's just how it is. The thing with Lando, he's always gotten like a little bit of hate. But now just the hate right now, it's good. It's absolutely crazy. I want Lando to win. I want him to become the world champion. But people hate the winners. They're gonna hate you on when you're the best. Max is catching up. Do I think he will? It really depends if what happens if Piastri keeps dropping points, because now the gap is really not that far. It's like what, 30, 34 points, I believe. One mistake from the McLarens, from both, and then Max is just right there. So I kind of want to see it happen. I don't want Max to win, but I want him to be just right there, just to add a little spice to it. And then, of course, I want the Ferraris to catch up to Russell. Where's the other Mercedes? Oh, there it is, P7. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Nico Hulkenberg doing huge. Isaac Hadjar, who might win rookie. It could be him. It's either, of course, Hadjar, Antonelli, and Berman. But I don't think Berman has done much besides. Yeah, he got P4, but might be Hadjar. I think he's looking really solid in a weaker car than Antonelli. And then we're here with the teams, and of course Ferrari got P2, just a point ahead of the Mercedes. Ferrari back-to-back years. Now this wasn't a close fight. McLaren had this spot way ahead. Of course, McLaren was gonna win this here, but man, this season I really wanted Ferrari to do something, but this season was not the case. Only reason Mercedes is in third is because Antonelli, yes, he's a rookie, and of course Russell is bringing in more of the points. Kimi only has 97, and huge gap with 258 Russell. Um, so yeah, Russell is carrying. Of course, he's the most experienced driver. He's the main one, and Antonelli needs to follow the footsteps. It's hard to follow a footstep from Lewis Hamilton, but there's that. But yeah, that's pretty much the race. Next race is Brazil, Sao Paulo. Yep. Um, I hate that's every other week. I want another week just right away. Um, but yeah, here's the Sao Paulo. I'm very excited. Predictions. I'm gonna make a whole different thing of that. But yeah.